Well, all metrics indicate the world has gone mad just in time for Christmas. I don't know what's happening with the impeachment. I don't know what's happening with, people are all supporting Brexit and Boris, but I'd never supported the Conservatives, didn't vote for the Conservatives. And I don't believe that Boris is going to be good for fighting the New World Order. I think he's just another form of it. So I think that whenever he talks about vaccine deniers being the scourge of the West, I think there's a problem because there's a problem already with vaccines actually causing autoimmune conditions where the immune system attacks itself, where the body attacks itself, and has caused a great increase in that. There was the measles vaccine controversy recently. There was the polio vaccine controversy throughout India with 40,000 people getting vaccine-induced paralysis. So there's a lot of denial going on and a lot of people defending the dogma and the status quo as it is because there's a lot of money being made. It's basically the way that disease is insured so that they can constantly sell their big pharma medicine so people can treat the symptoms, but they insure the disease through the vaccination schedule. And there's not many people in the patriotic right that are aware of such things. They don't know about vaccines. They don't know about 5G being military stinger technology. And there's that guy on YouTube that famously opened it and identified the weapon systems in it. And there's people that have gone on record from the military and intelligence agencies saying it's a weapon system. That's what microwaves are. They heat the atmosphere. They heat particles. And they've been used to disperse crowds in protests, by heating up the air so that people are forced to just run away. They don't know about lots of things that the mainstream media doesn't tell them. And that's because the mainstream media is basically paid off by the corporations and companies and so on. So, for example, the adverts used to always say low in polyunsaturates, trans fats, but margarine was good for you and butter was bad for you because it was full of fats. And then they started having no cholesterol, low cholesterol, which has caused an epidemic of Alzheimer's right now. But now we're in this sort of strange area where the adverts won't come out and tell you margarine is bad for you. We were wrong. They'll still advertise margarine quite happily, even though the trans fats are being banned. We're in this strange period where we know they're wrong, but they won't admit they were wrong. And they're not willing to move medicine forward in a way that actually benefits humanity. They just want to keep making profits from making people sick. We're at the stage in our development now where the charities has been exposed as fronts for prostitution and trafficking rings and all the abuse that happened with Oxfam related to Haiti last year, etc. Or was it this year? I don't know. But all the money goes to weapons of war and causing more division and bloodshed and pain and suffering in the world. All charitable status means is that you don't have to pay tax on it. That's why everything claims charitable status. The same elites that are tax exempt, that are lobbying the government to raise taxes on all the poor people. But the right don't know anything about this. They don't know anything about the New World Order. They just think, that's an anti-Semitic trope because the media told them, because the Daily Mail told them, because the Sun told them, because some stupid thing in Sky or whatever, or... I don't know, but I'm uneasy with these conservatives because they don't know anything about the global conspiracy. They don't know anything about the finer details of it. They just go along with the whole patriotism. Yeah, we respect the uniform of... Do we? We respect uniform? Pfft, why? The uniform of the police? The uniform of the military? Kowtowing to certain ideology? I don't respect the uniform. I respect individualism. I respect people being individuals. I've never respected collectivists. So why does that... It just seems to be at odds with itself. I guess if you like individual rights, you're a classical liberal, and that's what I am. But they tend to be conflated more with the right than the left now because the left have gone absolutely mental and the mainstream media have greenlit it by going along with them. And at the same time, popular culture is being destroyed because of all the woke agenda, which they're happy to push more than make money. Seems weird, but, woke makes you go broke, and they still push it. Just like, with the new Star Wars, with all these things, they haven't learned their lessons yet. It's generally considered that they don't make money, but apparently they have made a lot of money because it's Christmas. I just thought I'd tell you it was Christmas, just in case you didn't know yet from watching this video. And on that, it's the end of the year and the start of a new decade. And what are we going to do the next decade? Well, my predictions for the next decade, probably I'll do another video on this later towards the end of the year, but I think the next decade is humanity fighting back and resisting, because we already know the majority don't like the agenda. They don't like the woke agenda. They don't like political correctness, but they're forced to go along with it or be bullied or whatever and say whatever pronoun this person with a beard prefers them to be called, but we're unhappy to go along with it. So you can't just bully people to go along with things because you want them to. And the establishment is going to realise that. It's going to learn that because it thought it could bully everyone like it pushed around China, like the communists all kowtow to the government. Of course, communists respect government. And that is also why the social media companies like Facebook and Twitter have all this communist censorship in place, because they are communist, and that's now directly what they are, working with communist China to push the censorship and the global agenda for, what's it called? Social credit system? I don't know. I think the increase in begging from websites like Wikipedia shows that more people are using it, but not enough people are funding it. And they're saying, well, it won't be there if you don't fund it. Well, we don't care if it's not there because it's a well-known propaganda arm. It's like Snopes. We don't care. And no one believes it. The facts of the corruption and fraud of things like the SPLC and Snopes and so on are already out. They think they can put the toothpaste back in the tube, but they can't. And so plan B is just silence everyone. Get everyone fighting, get everyone divided so that... And try and legalise things that, you know, we're being caught with, like the Epstein case, etc. They're trying to push that, aren't they, with the LGBT agenda and trans children. And they will be pushing that, but the more they push it, the more there'll be a pushback against it, particularly from people that represented in the LGBT, as it formerly was, or certainly the LGB. But I think we're going to learn to stand on our own and, you know, abandon identity politics and stop playing these power games and stop using the fact that someone is in a group that's more oppressed than the other one, this oppression Olympics, which everyone is using to compete with each other, literally, and, you know, who's deserving of the most sympathy. I think we're going to learn to outgrow that and overcome that and see that it was detrimental to society as we turn this around, in large part thanks to people like Douglas Murray. Alex Jones is always saying the globalists aren't going to build their new world order now. He's always saying that they're frightened it's being destroyed and dismantled everywhere around the world. And that even if Trump is removed, that the spirit of populism, 1776 worldwide, is now, you know, awake in humanity. So don't be depressed, because it seems like, by all metrics, the globalists have lost. And they are going to be tipping the chessboard, and we are going to suffer, and they are going to do false flags, and there is going to be deaths from 5G, etc. But they're not going to build their control grid for humanity in the future indefinitely, because we've already fought back, and we need to start resisting against the technocracy. And Trump, for one thing, needs to start doing something about big tech, admitting to stealing 25 million votes. Might sway the election a little bit, you know, but even if he wins, is he going to do something when he gets in? Who knows? I think we need to stop thinking about Brexit and start talking about the actual problems like the corruption of big tech, the corruption of big pharma, all the corruption of all the big establishment institutions that we've got no reason to trust, that are the things that are dividing our society and pushing the woke agenda, that are making people sick and ill so they can continue making profits from their sickness and claiming that it's medicine, and then suppressing actual medicine like GCMAF, which would have made people better since the 1980s, and they've admitted that they do that. But they use the media as their little attack merchants, as their little smear campaigns to say that, oh, this drug was evil and this doctor was some quack, and they've conditioned people to think so puritanically like that. And these people trust the media. They need to start distrusting the media. They need to start realising that the mainstream media is lying all the time, and there's no standards for it to tell the truth because of Free Press. It doesn't need to tell the truth. It could just come out and say that you were funded by Russia. Put pictures of you everywhere, and you could be doxxed and defamed and terrorised, but there's no standards on the media. However, there is one caveat to that, and that is that they've lost credibility with the eyes of the people, especially in America. I mean, so few ratings for all their once top-rated channels and programs. They're just getting nothing now because people see through it, and they see through all the lies, and they see how spiteful and petty they are about certain things, and I don't think they're going to get to recover their credibility. So it's only good for us. There are only people going to wake up and realise that everything they were taught was bullshit, and it's made people sick, and it's made the world the way it is. And the only way to push back against that is to resist it. And there will be greater resistance, and people will be leaving the gulags, and that will be happening the next decade. Happy Christmas.